Yo, what's going on, guys? I know a lot of you are waiting and excited for the new tier 2 stuff to come out, as well as the new map expansion, but there's still a lot we have to do to prepare for it, so that's what we're going to be going over in this video. But before we get into that, make sure you guys leave a sub, drop a like, leave a comment. We are trying to get to 1k subs, and we are doing a 1k sub giveaway, so make sure you guys drop a sub. The quicker we get there, the quicker we get to give back to you guys. But let's jump straight into it. So first things first, I want to preface this video by that these are just things that I am doing. You can do a ton more, you could do a ton less, but this is just what I'm doing based on my gaming history and Throne and Liberty and all that good stuff. But let's jump straight into it with the first thing. Number one, basically at the end of making Lucent for this phase of Throne and Liberty, if we come take a look at the auction house, basically everything is dirt cheap, and I mean dirt cheap. The first page, nobody really is going to be buying the heroic sword anymore, and if they are, well, it's a big old yikes, considering they can buy Cherno's blade for way cheaper. They can buy Azrael's, Cornelius's. The only thing that's worth a damn, at least on this first page, is going to be Nirma's sword. And I want to say about a week and a half ago, Nirma's sword was 10,000 Lucent. As you can see, it has severely dropped in price. So the amount of Lucent that you guys are going to be making is going to be way less. So now what does this mean for you? Number one, you can either start saving all the gear that you get that may or may not have use later. As many of you know, you can either blessing stack or all that good stuff, but you can also use the purple gear, the tier 1 purple gear, to stack into the tier 2. So there more than likely will be a revival of the tier 1 purples. Probably not that much, but it'll still be there. Not going to be a lot. So what we're basically going to be doing, at least when it comes to gear, is either we're going to be saving it or we're going to be using it for the material transmutation, hoping that we get, let's see if we can do it. Yeah, hoping that we get like the Band of Universal Power, the Band of the Belt of Bloodlust, the Collar of Decimation. Like these three things still sell. I have gotten a Belt of Bloodlust, I think 3 times from this. I've gotten a Band of Universal Power once from this, and I think I've gotten the Collar of Decimation twice from the Material Transmutation. Basically, this is what we're going to be doing. This is how I've been going about it. I haven't really been saving just because I sort of don't really care to. I'd rather try to at least gamble, get the money right now. But as you can see, it's sort of slowed down with our money-making process. Now, the next thing that we are going to be starting to save is going to be our open world dungeon contracts. Now, the reasoning why for this is because, again, we can't make real money right now, so there's no point into even using them. You can get way more money if you save them. Once tier 2 open worlds come out, you scrap all of these down and you make them into the new tier 2s, you'll be able to make way more. I'll give you an example. It takes 2 of these to make 1 of the T2 open world dungeons. At least that's what the trade-off is right now. It could vary, could change, but at least right now that's what it is. Most of the items that you're going to get from these dungeons are going to be like 50 Lucent. You would need to sell things for 100 Lucent from the tier 2 things that are coming out. And I can guarantee you the first week things are going to be selling 1,000 pretty much. So you're basically 20xing your money. Well, technically 10xing your money because it's 2-to-1 ratio. So you're 10xing your money just by specifically holding on to these contracts and waiting for the tier 2. Now, what does this mean for the rest of everything? Well, if we come over to our contract coin manager, we're not going to be getting a ton more contract coins until at least the update. So your trade extract stones are not going to be going crazy, and your blessing pouches aren't going to be going crazy. Now, I will say this, I think you get 300 every day just by doing your daily contracts. So what I recommend you do is you get these precious blessing pouches. They guarantee 2 of the contracts for the open world dungeons. So basically every day you're getting a new T2 open world dungeon contract. Now, what would I do with the rest of them? Well, every week you'll have an extra 700 contract coins. I'd recommend buying the trait extraction stones because, and or the enchanted egg, depending on what you want to do. But personally, me, I'm going to go the trait extraction stones. Once T2 gear comes out, it's no longer going to be 25 trait extract stones to get the trait. If I'm correct, I believe it's 100. I could be wrong. It could be 50. Either way, it's increasing by a ton. You're going to want to start stocking up on these. Now, again, you still can use these different things if the item is worth selling, because Lucent will always be king on this game. But more than likely than not, you aren't going to be using either of these two things for a hot minute. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, Toxic, aren't we cutting off content for us if we're not doing the contract scrolls? Well, that's an extra piece of content that we're not doing. Very glad you asked. We're still going to be doing open world dungeons. We're still going to be doing co-op dungeons. We're still going to be doing all the rest of the stuff, but for different reasons. So we're going to be doing open world dungeons specifically for weapon level. So we're going to like take Silius. Silius is probably one of my favorite ones to go to, but we're going to be using our Abyssal contracts. Let's see up here. Yeah, up here. Abyssal contract tokens to get weapon level. If you take a look at this, we want to get our weapon level up, and we also want to get runes. Now, why do I want to do this? Well, the higher the level of your weapons, the higher the level of your runes, the higher the level of your combat power, and the easier it'll be to do the T2 content, or I should say, what would it be, T3 now or something? I don't even know what they're calling, but we're just going to call it T2 because it's easier. Every level you get with this, you get damage, you get defense, you get all that good stuff. If you come take a look at the runes, let's use this as an example. Ranged heavy attack chance. This is weakened chance. This I would rather melee endurance, but you know, it is what it is. As you can see, 4200 on my ult. We just want to make it as easy as possible when the content drops to just jump straight into the content. Not only that, but when you do open world dungeons, you will be getting the parchments that you need to level up your skills. Leveling up your skills is also a super important way, not only to increase your combat power, but to increase your overall damage and survivability. If we take a look at it, most of your skills are going to be the way you're going to be dealing damage. And every time you level it up, you're going to be increasing your damage. You're going to be increasing, say, your healing. You're going to be increasing everything. This is the way to go about it. Now, as it goes for co-op's the reason why we want to do it. Again, not for making money. We do want to do them though. Specifically, you can theoretically get something that sells. Like if you got the Carnix's bow with heavy attack, you can still sell it for 80. It's still somewhat worth it. Not really, but somewhat. But you also get yourself these parchments. You get yourself your Abyssal contract tokens. These are more important. So that's the reason why you do it. You don't run it for the loot. You don't run it for the T1s or the T2s. You run it for the open world. You get 600 for your T1s. You get 900 for your T2s. And again, bonus could be if you get something that's worth selling. If you take a look at Torture Chamber Screams, you get the Shadow Harvester pants. Yeah, it's worth selling, but you know, we run it for the other reasons. Now, why do we want to do all these things that seem mundane, that seem that they could be done later, that seem that it may not have the biggest impact on things? I'm glad you asked again. If you don't get your skills up, if you don't get your runes up, at least a little bit, if you aren't at least caught up with things, you aren't going to be prepared to not only do the content, but also make the most amount of Lucent you possibly can when things get released. Now, I'm going to tie two things in together. My field boss drop video, as well as my rune drop video that will be dropping this week right before this video. If you guys know, the way to get field boss drop loot is by number one, doing the most damage, doing the most healing, and doing the most assisting all at once. So again, it doesn't need to be in like a specific order. Like you can do 2 million damage, 50,000 heals, and then like 8 million assist. Like I don't know. Again, I don't really know the exact numbers, but say you were to do that. The higher you pump those numbers up, the easier it will be to get a drop. Now, as many of you know, there's going to be new arch bosses. There's going to be new field bosses. There's going to be new loot that goes with those field bosses. What's going to happen when you don't get a drop? You're not going to make money. You're not going to make money. So we want to place ourselves in the best position to not only be able to have fun doing the content, but to also make the most money. When you level up your skills, when you level up your runes, when you level up your weapon mastery, when you do all these things, you give yourself the best chance to not only complete the content that you want to, but also to get the loot that you need and or need to sell. That's why you want to go about it. So that's basically how I would go about prepping for tier 2. You can technically do countless other things like saving tokens, like saving this, like saving that. Personally, I can't be bothered enough. This way has been working for me. It's easy enough to follow. It works. But you guys let me know in the comments what you guys think. If there's something extraordinarily important that I missed that's easy to do, that doesn't really affect too much, let me know in the comments. And remember, we are doing that 1K sub giveaway, so make sure you guys drop a sub. It really does help the channel out, and we want to give back to you guys. You guys have been so amazing so far. We are so close to 1K. Thank you guys so much. But that is about going to do it. So I hope each and every one of you guys has a wonderful day. And as always, take care, and I'll talk to you guys later.